Millions in Syria and Iraq are facing water shortages as the region's longest river, the Euphrates, dries up.
Water levels in the river have hit record lows. Neighboring Iraq has also been affected. The Euphrates is one of the most important and ancient rivers on Earth, blowing through Turkey, Syria, and Iraq. This river has been the only major water source for this region for more than 10,000 years. But now this giant river is drying up due to strange and terrifying circumstances causing drought. But the drying of the Euphrates doesn't come as a shock because it was predicted in a terrifying prophecy that now seems to be coming. What researchers have discovered in the Ere River is terrifying. The discoveries made underneath the dried riverbed have left the world shocked. Stick around this video till the end because we will tell you what researchers have found underneath the dried riverbed, what prophecy is about to come true, and what will happen in the world. And if you are new to this channel, make sure to subscribe to this channel and press the bell icon. Now, let's jump right. The Euphrates River has been incredibly important in human history because it is thought to be responsible for making the Mesopotamia region fertile. This region is where the practice of agriculture first started in ancient times. The Euphrates River was a great source of clean water for men. They also used the water from the Ere River for farming and agriculture. The practice of agriculture then spread from Mesopotamia to other parts of the Euphrates was also the first river mentioned in the Bible because it was one of the 4 rivers that originated in the Garden of Eden. The Tigris River and the Euphrates River are considered twin rivers. Many well-known civilizations, such as the Babylonians, the Samians, and the Akkadians, have been living in the region of Mesopotamia, where the river flowed depending completely on the waters of the river Us. And the Tigris rivers originated from the Taurus Mountains, and after flowing from Turkey, Syria, and Iraq, they empty into the Persian Gulf. But now this ancient river is drying up, causing a significant drop in water levels across its length. The river has completely dried up in most parts, leaving the river visible. The river drying has caused a massive drought in the region, due to which the fertile land has become. Farmers, villagers, and fishermen, depending on the rivers, waters are now suffering from an economic depression. But the question is, what causes this once powerful flowing river to dry up overnight? What does it mean for those dependent on the Euphrates River for survival? Well, something biblical and unnatural is believed to have caused the river to dry up, and a number of strange things have been found underneath it. It is also believed that a string of human activities contributed to the untimely drying up of the river. The economies of Turkey, Iraq, and Syria depend upon the Euphrates River, because this river has been a major source of agricultural water. Many hydroelectric power plants were also established on this river. Most of the river is under Turkish control because the river originates in the mountains of eastern Turkey. Still, there have been numerous clashes between Turkey, Syria, and Iraq regarding the control and usage of the water of the Euphrates River. Almost 100 years ago, the first treaty was signed between the 3 countries, which stipulated how the 3 countries could utilize the water of the Euphrates in a way that would benefit all 3 countries. But again, clashes started between the countries because according to Syria and Iraq, Turkey was controlling more water from the Euphrates River and allowing only less water to pass the Syria and Iraq. That's why in 1946, another treaty was signed between them. In the 1970s, Iraq experienced the severe drought because Turkey constructed the Tab Tobacco Dam on the river, which significantly reduced water in the river. Iraq's government threatened Turkey that if they didn't allow the water to flow to Iraq, they would hit the Tab Tobacco Dam with a bomb. Again, a treaty was signed among the countries, but the fact is that Syria and Turkey have built more dams on the Euphrates, and as a result, IRO receives less. Iraq is suffering from the devastating effects of a water shortage in the Euphrates River. In April 2014, Turkey began to drastically reduce the flow of the Euphrates River into Syria, and in May of the same year, the flow was almost cut off. This action by Turkey was a clear violation of the initial agreement between the 3 countries. After that, the water level and the river is continuously decreasing due to unknown reasons. In all 3 of these countries are experiencing the devastating effects of. The effects of the drought are more visible in Iraq and Syria, where millions of people have been affected. Almost 200,000 people in more than 400 villages across the Ere River have been displaced. Now in many parts of Iraq and Syria, the river has dried up and the riverbed is visible. There are some areas where the river flows, even though the water level has decreased. Still, this water is polluted and contaminated because the water coming from Syria and Turkey contain dissolved fertilizers used on fields. These harmful chemicals are then released into the Euphrates River, increasing the salinity of the water and making it unsuitable for drinking. The drying up of the Euphrates River has created many lakes and ponds in Iraq, but most of the year, Iraq has the highest, and subsequently causing all the lakes and ponds to dry up. Increased evaporation has facilitated the total loss of water from these regions. As a result, the temperature increases yearly, and people are now experiencing the worst effects of global warming. According to recent research on drought in Turkey, Syria, and Iraq, Turkey is experiencing 2 cubic kilometers of annual vapor. Syria is experiencing 1 cubic kilometer of annual evaporation, and Iraq experiences 5 cubic kilometers of annual evaporation. It all implies that Iraq is experiencing extreme drought conditions. The soil is becoming saline and barren, and people are leaving the region across the Euphrates River. While the subsequent drought along the Euphrates River is attributed to the construction and closure of dams, many people believe that the drying up of the Euphrates River is a biblical prophecy that has come. The Euphrates River is one of those rivers mentioned in the Bible, in the Old Testament of the Bible. The river played an important role because it was the first river that originated from the Garden of Eden. It also acted as a means of support for the Israeli army. Ancient Babylonians and Assyrians also built their empire in Mesopotamia, the region now covered by the Euphrates and Tigris. According to the biblical prophecy, the Euphrates River, blowing through Mesopotamia, served as the city's nourishment source. It provided water for the people of Babylon and their crops. They simply couldn't have survived without the Euphrates River. The archaeological record suggests that Babylonians built structures in and around the Euphrates River. The Euphrates River served as a protective barrier for many empires, including the Babylonian. But it is another fact that this river played a key role in the downfall of one of the oldest civilizations in human history. Archaeological evidence suggests that the Persian army captured the city of Babylon, which was only possible by diverting the flow of the river. The Persian army diverted the flow of the river, completely cutting off one section of the river, and they invaded Babylon at night. But the Bible predicts something terrifying about the Euphrates. According to the Revelation in 6:12, the sixth angel poured out his vial on the Euphrates River to prepare the way for the king of the east. This portion of the Bible holds a great resemblance to what we are seeing happen in the Euphrates River today. The water has dried up almost completely, and it has happened at a much faster rate than has ever been recorded. According to the Bible, just before the end of the world, the sixth angel will cause the Euphrates River to dry out. But it also reveals that something more terrifying will emerge from the dry underground bed of the Euphrates. The Revelation verses 13 to 15 says the sixth angel sounded his trumpet, and I hear a voice coming from the four horns of the golden altar that is before God. It said that the sixth angel who had the trumpet releases the four angels who are bound by the great river Euphrates, and the four angels who have been kept ready for this very hour, day, month, and year were released to kill a third of mankind. This portion of the Bible states that four fallen angels were imprisoned beneath the Euphrates River, and that as the river started to dry up in the end times, an angel of God would set them free to wreak havoc on earth during the apocalyptic. While non-Christians will consider it a religious annotation, the fact is that the river is drying up. Researchers are making strange discoveries from the river. Many strange caves have been discovered and people have noticed strange sounds coming from the riverbed. It implies that what the Bible says is true and that the end of times are near.